Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Reggie. It was been a long haul, but it was well worth it. I'm not surprised that we did it. I'm surprised how we did it. A blowout ball game.
Mr. Fogelman, how do you feel?
Well, Reggie, I just feel fantastic. I'm just very honored to be involved with such a great organization and great people, and I'm a lucky guy, and I really appreciate being here.
Mr. Kaufman, I've played against your ball club a long time.
You beat us too, Reggie. I want to say that when the Royals lost, they lost with dignity. And when we win the same way.
Well, you certainly have proved that tonight. The Commissioner of Baseball, Peter Uberoth, has a trophy to present, the World Championship trophy to the Kansas City Royals.
Get a hold of that,
These are courageous team, Reggie. Courageous folks.
We got it.
Congratulations, you guys.
How about it?
Okay?
I got it. Yeah, how about that?
All right, good. All right.
Dick, tell me about the ball game tonight. You guys, you had John Tudor and Brett Saberhagen pitching tonight. Did you ever expect an outcome like this?
Really, Reggie. You just never know what's going to happen in this game. I knew Saberhagen would pitch a good ball game. He's done it all year. I'm surprised it was a blowout game, but baseball, anything can happen. The Cardinals are a good ball club. They're a good organization. We started catching a break or two. I thought once we came back to Kansas City, they didn't put us away in St. Louis. When we got back here, I don't think our guys were cocky or overconfident, but we kind of had that look in our eye. Not Dick Hauser, but the ball club. They proved it.
Dick, before we present the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player Trophy, what about the Kansas City Royals? The Western Division of the American League is supposed to be the weak division.
I heard that. I've heard that for a couple of years now. Well, that's history, too, just like a lot of records and a lot of things that happen in dynasties and all those other things. We're a good, solid ball club, and we've got great pitching, and the character came out in this World Series. It was a great series for us, Reggie.
I understand that the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player Award, the most valuable player is Brett Saberhagen, who pitched a shutout tonight, gave up 1 run in Game 3. Mr. Commissioner, the Most Valuable Player Trophy over here. Here is Brett Saberhagen. Come on up here, Brett.
You can't have them both, please.
Brett, outstanding game. What can you say?
Coming in here, I was extremely nervous.
You were nervous?
I was real nervous. Fortunately, we got some key plays. I don't think this should all go to me. We had 25 guys contribute in this series. Dane Orch last night, and you can just go up and down the line. It really belongs to everybody on this ball club.
Mr. Commissioner, the Most Valuable Player Award.
Well, this is the Brett Saberhagen, the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player. This is yours, Brett. It's a guy that's made this whole country proud. A hell of a ball player. Great series.
Let's get that trophy turned around so everybody can see it.
I don't weigh this much as the trophy weighs.
I understand we have a special phone call from a special guest.
Will you get the
President of the
line?
United States. And who would he like to speak to first? How about if he speaks to Avron Fogelman, the owner of the Kansas City Royals? Do we have the telephone call in? It is not here yet. We're not ready for the phone call yet.
Let me say hi to my wife, Janine, and Drew in the hospital. Bring this home to you tonight, and hopefully we can both enjoy it for the rest of the year and maybe one next year.
While we're waiting, we will go over to Tim McCarver in the St. Louis Cardinal clubhouse. We'll be right back.
And my guest is Whitey Herzog. Whitey, you won 108 ball games this year, and I don't know whether congratulations are in order, certainly for winning the 108, but you couldn't win that 109th.
Well, actually, Timmy, tonight's ball game was kind of a laugher from the other way, and we didn't play very well. John couldn't make a pitch. He didn't have his control. He couldn't get his changeup over. They swung the bats pretty good, and they beat us tonight. And we should have put it away last night, and we didn't, and that's just one of those things. But when you play a 7-game World Series and you only hit about 165 as a team and you only score 13 runs, you certainly don't deserve to win.
Obviously, you can tip your hat to the fine pitchers on the Royals staff, but here's a club that led the National League in hitting, 264, led the National League in runs scored. If you could pinpoint one thing, I guess you would have before now, but what do you think was the cause of that adroit stoppage in hitting that happened to your ball club?
Well, Timmy, they got a good staff. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind they got a good young pitching staff, but they're not that good. I mean, if they're that good, they'd have won 135 ball games. They won 99 ball games this year. We won 108. They're world champions, and I'll tip my hat to them. And, Kansas City has had a lot of frustrations. I've lost a lot of big ball games in this park, 2 times to the Yankees in playoffs, 3 times in a row, and 2 times in the 9th inning of the 5th game. Last night's ball game was a big ball game. And the fans in Kansas City, after almost 30 years in baseball, really, this is their first championship, and they've been great fans, and I congratulate them. I'd have liked to won, don't get me wrong, but I'm very happy about my ball club. They played great all year, and why we stopped hitting, I don't know. It's just one of those things. But when you think about that we've only scored 13 runs, and yet we went to the 7th game of the World Series and really could have put it away in 6.
Whitey, we received reports that John Tudor was released from the hospital with possible stitches in his left hand. Can you tell us about that, or do you want to?
Oh, yeah. There's no sense in not talking about it. I mean, he's got a bandage on his index finger of his pitching hand. John was awful upset. He pitched so great for us, and he knew he couldn't make a pitch, and he couldn't get his change over, and he threw Motley a fastball, and he hit it out. And then the next inning, he walked the guy with the base loaded, just couldn't get the ball where he wanted. He come off the field, and they had a fan in the dugout, and he, in frustration, he kind of swung at it and hit his pitching hand and cut it. Nothing severe. It's been stitched up. No tendon damage. There's nothing like that, but it was just the idea that he was awful down in the dumps.
Speaking of down in the dumps, obviously Joaquin Andujar was down in the dumps too. Do you think the show of frustration and his temper tonight will affect his performance next year, possibly after sitting on it, and the public's perception of him as a pitcher for the Cardinals?
Oh, he'll probably win 20 games. Unfortunately, he won 20 this year in August, and everybody's on him. But if he wins 20 next year by the All-Star break or by August, I'll take that.
Will he remain a Cardinal next year?
Well, I'd say so. I mean, he's been a good pitcher for us, and I kind of like that. I don't care about him getting frustrated, but really, I mean, he's been a good pitcher since he's been here. I've had him since right before the strike in 1981, and he's been an awful good pitcher for me. And he takes the ball, he wants to pitch, and I would say he'd probably pitch the second or third game of the season next year.
And you're an awfully good manager, my friend, and I thank you for spending your time with us, and congratulations on a fine year.
Timmy, I appreciate that, and nobody expected us to go anywhere. We ended up losing the 7th game of the World Series. I'm sorry it wasn't a better show. We really didn't play very well. We really didn't hit very well, and I was hoping tonight's ball game would be a better ball game.
Let's go back to Reggie Jackson in the winner's locker room.
Thank you very much, Tim. A heck of a lot different on this side of the clubhouse. Dick Hauser, I understand you have a phone call from a special guest, Mr. President of the United States.
Well, I haven't heard anything yet, but we're expecting the President to call, and we're excited.
He's on here.
Hello? President Reagan?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Who's this, Dick?
This is Dick Hauser. Yes, sir.
Hey,
Skipper.
listen, I know you've all got some celebrating to do, but I just couldn't resist making a call to tell you how great everything is, and of course I'm supposed to be a kind of a nonpartisan fellow on this sort of thing, but congratulations for a great finish.
Well, we appreciate it, and we think we did it the American way with good hard work, and surround yourself with good people. This is a strong organization, and our players were confident. The last couple of games, I've never seen young people so confident, so it was a big win for us. Thank you.
Well, listen, earlier this season, I know a lot of sportscasters were speculating that it was going to wind up with a subway series between the two New York teams. But you and the Cards you had a different transportation plan. Yours was not a subway, it was Interstate 70.
You're right. We wanted that shorter trip. Yes, we felt fortunate to get to win, first of all, in our division. And then we played a tough Toronto club right down to the wire, and you saw what happened tonight. So give our players credit. They did a great job. Thank you for your call.
7.5 games back in July, and then down 3-1 in games back-to-back in these two series, and came back out of all of it. And
well, give the players credit. I mentioned confidence earlier. The players were confident. I've never seen young people, players, veteran players, whatever, have that look in their eye. I think especially when they didn't put us away in St. Louis, we felt like once we got back here, we could win it.
Well, listen, I could start George Brett, Willie Wilson, Brett Saberhagen, and Jim Quisenberry. Well, I better stop because I really should be listing the whole squad for this terrific effort.
Well, I'd like for you to speak to some people there. Let some of these other players talk to you for a minute, if you don't mind.
Fine.
Thank you, Mr. President. We appreciate your call.
How you doing, Mr. President?
Just fine.
Oh, that's great. I'm doing just great, too. Having a baby win the World Series in 2 days, it couldn't be any better.
Well, I can guess that. I've been here watching this, and from that finish last night and then tonight, putting it away the way you did, this must be the proof is in the pudding, and it must be pretty sweet tasting right now.
Oh, it definitely is, and, it's just been great talking to you, and let me give the phones over to somebody else now.
Okay.
Take care.
Mr. President Ewing Kaufman of the Kansas City Royals.
Yes.
I want to say first that this team was built by Joe Burke and John Sherholz, and they deserve the credit. And we're going to go on. We won with dignity, and I'm ready to help you balance the budget. Whatever you want to do, we'll take care of it for you.
Well,
let me turn you over to George Brett.
After the way you handled this ball game tonight, I'd be very happy to have you on my team for handling the budget.
I've been with you all the way. And here's George Brett, the greatest hitter in baseball today. George, say hello to President Reagan.
Mr. Reagan.
Yes, George.
How are you, sir?
Just fine.
That's good. I met you last winter. I was back there for a touchdown club and stopped by the White House, and you were just landing on the lawn, and a friend of mine is secretary for the White House and brought me over and introduced myself to you. You remember that?
I remember, and listen, just congratulations for a great effort. All of you can be very proud.
Well, thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
We'll now go back to Al Michaels. Congratulations to the Kansas City Royals from us at ABC.
All right, thank you, Reggie, and our thanks up here, of course, to Alan Roth and to Steve Hurt for a great job. And history made tonight by the Royals, the first team in history to lose the first two at home and then win the World Series. Al Michaels, Jim Palmer, Reggie Jackson, Tim McCarver saying so long from Kansas City with our deepest appreciation to the gentlemen whose names you'll be seeing, the ladies and gentlemen who made this series possible.
The executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. The 1985 World Series produced by Chuck Howard and Dennis Lewin, directed by Chet Forty. Technical directors Mike Blazo, Barry Clemens, and Chet Mazurek. Associate directors Earl Fryman, Garland Simon, and John McGinnis.